1% increase is what we saw on the JSE All Share. We have around 8.8 billion rand passing through the market. In terms of what we're seeing on the top 40 front, pretty much a mixed performance. MTN at the top of the top 40, up 3.7%.
That's right. I think after the ex-div date on Monday, we saw a bit of negativity in MTN, but not so much as as we'd expect, probably on a down day like that. So today's consolidation was really nice for that share. People have been very happy with the higher dividend yield that they actually decided on. So good news.
So some finding opportunity to head into MTN after it went ex-div yesterday. Let's delve into the likes of Harmony. I mean, that up 2.7%. Harmony has been quite an interesting stock to look at. I mean, it closed the day at 99 Rand and 61 cents. It also said it's going to be cutting costs at some of its mines in today's session. That was the most recent news flow. Yesterday it was down 2%. We had Judy Padiachi saying that she is expecting more upside, even though it's had such a strong run.
Well, Harmony is an interesting story with their joint venture in Papua New Guinea, where they actually see potential of around the highest mining figures that they've ever gotten out of a mine. So that might be very positive for them. It's still in quite early stages. So I think for Harmony, a company in South Africa that has limited resources of gold left, we have to actually applaud them for this exploration that they've done so successfully, and they're actually quite lucky with this find that they've found. So they might get a very, very good figure. They've spoken of about 1.5 billion into 2 billion, sorry, dollars of added value by this mine for them.
But I know you don't like gold stocks, is that right?
That is right.
You don't own Harmony, no Anglo Gold Ashanti, no exposure to the gold sector.
I can tell you that in a company like Harmony, with a price that's been down significantly since the last couple of years, and a potential mining venture like they have on the table now, might just be a time to look into a company like that. If you have a value company which is trading below its value, and you see value in the earnings that might come out of it, there's always scope for you to buy it. Generally, I wouldn't buy a gold stock. I'd rather buy an ETF like New Gold to participate in the gold price.
Let's touch on ArcelorMittal. It was up over 3% for the most part of the trading day. It gained 2.2% at the close of trade, 89 Rand 61 cents.
So that share has actually not gone anywhere since the announcement came out last year of Kumba not going to supply iron ore to them at cost price any longer. The share price has basically just moved sideways since. We've seen a bit of fluctuation, daily fluctuation in their price. It's been quite a volatile share, even though it's not gone anywhere. It's actually just moved around in a sideways manner. Interestingly, Kumba came out yesterday with a report where they said that they don't see steel as such a strong industry in South Africa, and they don't think that there's a lot of potential for it to grow, and that they actually think that iron ore is the commodity to be in, and that sees a lot of growth in the coming centuries. And if it's managed right, and if the Department of Resources actually underpins the regulations right, and helps out, there might be very good growth in iron ore, especially in South African companies, something like Kumba.
So such a negative rhetoric out of Kumba Iron Ore. Where does it leave the company? It was up 1.6% today.
True. No, I think it's positive for Kumba, as they do a lot of exports of iron ore. For ArcelorMittal, Kumba is also yesterday, it was a very long report. There was also the likes in there of a proposition to the state of a possible steel plant that would create jobs and everything, and that would be detrimental to ArcelorMittal. Today in the news, it didn't seem like that was the main focus of this whole report. So I actually think that was the positivity that came through for Mittal.
Avusa has also been under the spotlight quite extensively. We it jumped 18.4% to 25 Rand yesterday. If we could just get that graph up to see how it performed in today's session. It released a cautionary saying that it received an unsolicited expression of interest from Capita U shareholdings. It's quite an interesting play here, because we had the story leaking into the market, and as you can see, Avusa down 0.8% in today's session. Mia, looking at this, a lot of M&A activity in the country coming to the fore. It's quite an interesting time, I would say.
I think so too, it is. With this is absolutely, like you said, the rumor made it to the market first, and some of the rumors actually speculate that the price for the takeover would be 26 Rand a share, and that's why I think the price moved up like that yesterday. Today, when it was confirmed that there's no relativity yet in it and it's just speculation, I think the market got a little bit of a worry as that's the price they've moved to. So I think an interesting story for Avusa, and we've seen that it's a consortium.
Interesting enough for you to buy?
No, definitely not at this price now.
Right, Cashbuild, an interesting company. It was viewed as a bit of a bellwether at one point. In terms of prospects going forward, your view on this company?
I think it's quite a small company, and the results didn't come out as well as was anticipated by the market, obviously. They still grew their gross profit margin, which was good for them. And you know, they're in a sector where people probably want to do a little bit more of their renovations and things themselves these days. Yeah. So it might be a space in the market where they can actually do good in tight market situations like this, where the construction sector actually struggles a little.
Let's look at what you find value in terms of where you see value on the JSE. And we were chatting a little earlier. You came up with some really interesting names, but let's touch on the most obvious, like the BHP Billiton and Anglo American, at a time where the commodity story is very much intact. At least this is what most people are talking about. Are you buying into this story?
Well, I do, Eleni. I think that Anglo American at a PE, a forward PE of 7, is not a bad buy, and especially in a sector like that, we have a very big diversification of different resources. We all know that resources probably in the next couple of years, I think probably the next up until 5 years, is still a growth story, and we support that, and I definitely buy Anglo at 7. So
you're allocating new money to Anglo at this point?
Well, like I told you earlier, I have some money to allocate. Yes. So I'm buying Anglo, and I think that's probably not a bad buy. As I said, not expensive so much. Okay. And if we look at the commodity prices, they've actually run harder than these diversified miners prices. So
more room to move. You did say you did have some money to allocate a little earlier. Where are you allocating money? You were talking about Renet, Remgro. You bought SAB last week, Standard Bank as well. Take us through those.
Well, I think Standard Bank below 100 Rand is a bargain. They did have a couple of things, and you know, the ROE is a little lower, but it's a company that's performed very strong in the past. They've got a strong management team. It's a company that can actually pull itself out of the little dundrum they're in. So I don't think it's a very, very bad situation. I think they'll come out of this stronger, and this is a good price to acquire them at. Reunert's another story of a company that's pulled back very, very big in the past couple of weeks. So something that you should probably have a look at if you're interested and if you think there's a bit of value. Remgro, like you said, at 103 Rand 50, definitely a buy for me.
Okay, Mia, in terms of what is niggling you at this point, are you looking to Japan? Are you looking at what's happening in Europe? We had downgrades today for Portugal and for Greece as well. We've got hawkish comments from Jean-Claude Trichet, hawkish comments from some US central bankers, negative consumer sentiment numbers. How are you feeding the whole international story into your South African play?
Definitely volatile and uncertain. As we all know, we've seen these massive pullbacks since the earthquake and the tsunami happened in the Japan area. I think it's important to have a look at the bigger picture, and especially if you're an investor, I'd recommend staying and sticking to the larger diversified companies with geographical diversification. That'll probably be a safer bet for you.